Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Hopefully you are all hearing me across the, I was going to say Thinternet, but I'm not a northerner anymore. Hello, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you okay. Can hear you okay. We're
Yeah, it's
live.
all
Are we ready
it's
to
all
go?
it's all working. We're live. So so thank you everybody for joining.
If people can hear us, if people are here, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube, just drop us a comment. Just let us know where it is that you're visiting from. We get all kinds of nations on these webinars, and Africa, India, America, UK. So make sure you let us know where you're messaging from, because it's great to see the width of the audience that we can get on these things.
So I'm just looking around on all the channels, making sure all the streams are working for everybody. And then we'll dig into what we're going to talk about today which is basically turning your marketing propaganda into actually interesting content, because we have this kind of like dilemma, don't we? We want to actually promote what we do, and we want to do all of that stuff. And at the same time, we actually want to promote what we do, but we want to be engaging with it at the same time. So there's all that kind of dilemma that we need to kind of work on.
That's right.
And so that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to show you some examples, some templates, and some frameworks that actually work to make you get content. So I can see we had a bit of a glitch on YouTube for a moment, but it seems to be live now. So I can see there's a few people watching. So let us know where you're joining from. If you're watching on LinkedIn, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, X, let me know where you're joining. And we're going to break down what does good content look like, particularly when you're trying to promote. So Dave, what is the atypical problem? And I don't want to throw marketing departments under the bus and marketers under the bus, but a lot of times people get so obsessed with promoting what they do that it makes them invisible. So just talk through how often we see this, what the challenge is with it, all of that tricky stuff.
Yeah, of course. Just as a note, by the way, I can see people from Portugal, Kent, Denver, Colorado, Plymouth, Porto. So really good kind of width of an audience we're getting here today. So thanks for putting those comments in there. Yeah, so look, whether you're a marketer and you're directing a team on what to post, or whether you're just a solopreneur who's trying to post for themselves, it's really easy to write about the stuff that we know, the stuff we do, right? It's really easy to promote those white papers or those 50-page booklets that we've had made by the team, and they've taken all that time and effort. Why wouldn't we share them? But actually, a lot of the time we just front load it with me, right? All the time. And this is the problem that we have, is that if all people see about you is the kind of stuff that you want them to read, then obviously there's never going to be anything there interesting for them. And actually, we see it all the time. Marketers, you want your teams to be sharing the company content, and that's absolutely fine. I completely get why. But if that's all they're sharing, then there's not going to be any value in it, because it won't get the audience, it won't be seen, and it's not going to have the impact you think it will. And for solopreneurs, you're sharing content with your face on it, and you're sharing little kind of teasers where people don't actually know what you're trying to say with that message. And it's the thing, sometimes the impact can be lost because what you have up here and what you're trying to share, because it's so branded and it's all about you, it just doesn't come across to the audience in the way that you want it to.
So if we talk about, hi Gary, I can see hi Gary Jacobs, hi Jitendra. So nice to have you all here. If we're talking about, I've got a message I want to share, I want people to know how good my gadget, my service is. You can obviously kind of tell people, hey, we're amazing. Look how good we are. Look how awesome we are. But do people really believe that? Do people believe you telling, we know how much BS there is on social media. We know how much, people do the fake photo shoots and all that stuff. So when they see you boasting or promoting, often people are a bit more cynical. So we talk often about, and we're going to show you today, the kind of see, taste, buy. In other words, people see you, they taste the value, and then they decide to buy. Often it's the posts that are actually more helpful, that will get you the most leads and the most interest. Fair, Dave?
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is based upon the fact that we expect people to know who we are, who our company is. And a lot of the smaller companies out there that are sharing content heavily branded, it doesn't have the impact that, say, something Apple posts, because if people see an Apple logo, they immediately know the brand, they resonate with it, they resonate with the products. But if I'm trying to promote something and I'm a law firm and I'm trying to promote my legal name on there, and hope my logo attracts attention, what trust will I generate? What attraction will I have? Because people don't really, the only select few that know your company is the people in and around you, or the people that are already your clients. That's not who you're trying to attract.
Mm. So what we're going to talk about in today's session is we're going to actually break down, and we're going to use a real world example of, we're going to use video production as a real world example. So somebody who's basically selling video production, what kind of content should they be doing? And we're going to kind of talk about this as if we're a video production company, and try and explain how some of the common mistakes people make about marketing themselves, particularly with content, if I was a hypothetical video production agency. We could pick anything, but I thought the video production one would be quite cool. So I'll start, Dave, and then you pick up on this. So one of the first things is, if I'm a video production agency, I want to attract the attention of people who want video production services. So that's my first objective, right? I don't care, right? Just being honest, Mr. Video Production Agency man, I don't care if my competitors love me or hate me. I don't want them particularly to hate me, but if I'm getting comments from video production people, I don't really care about that. That's not beneficial to me. I want people interested who want to do high quality videos. So the first thing I need to think about is, what the hell do my audience want to pay attention to? And what do they want out of video content? Now, the big myth that I see people doing, particularly in this kind of space where you've got something to show videos, is people think that their content that they've made, their videos, their promos, will be enough to convince people to buy. And actually, it isn't. You have to really get people to taste the value, to have an experience of seeing the value. Without that, there's no trust. So if I could give you a piece of content that helps you think about video better, I'm going to win. So I want to create a piece of content that helps my audience go, wow, Dean's content's great. I found it really useful. So we call this nurture content, and Dave's going to share a little bit about what nurture content is and how it helps. Even though it isn't promotional, it kind of is, because it gets people hooked on you.
Yeah. So nurture content is what it says, really. You're nurturing people. You're not trying to convert them, as in book a meeting with them or get them to engage you for your services necessarily. Your purpose here is to make sure that you get them to stick around, you get them to see value in being part of your network or part of your ecosystem. So let's take, for example, I'm posting content and it's always focused on benefits to me. So it's, here's a product, here's a promotion, things that benefit me all the time. Will anyone ever click the notification bell? Will they ever follow? Will they ever stick around? And this is the thing with LinkedIn, is just like every other social platform, yes, you can sell more on LinkedIn and social media, you can sell more nowadays, but actually you really need to be giving value so that you build credibility, that you, when you do post this stuff, people actually trust what you're saying. Let's say, for example, I post about our method is brilliant at doing this, but then before that or after that, there's no real thing to back it up. But if I had a nurture post in there, which is saying 5 ways that you can do this, or 5 websites you can use to achieve this, people are gaining real value for being part of my network. They're going, wow, Dave provided me with those 5 links to 5 useful sites that actually I can implement now. What does that mean for me? Well, the reason it nurtures them is, 1, they see value in being there, so they click follow, they stick around. But actually what I'm gaining is they're going to gravitate back to me should they need a solution. because they're going to see me as an expert based upon the fact that I'm giving away my expertise. Right, Dean?
Yeah. So nurture content is primarily about what do we know that helps people get to the outcome they want. And this is where it gets really tricky. So I want the world to know we're awesome at video production. You know, Dean's got video production hat on today. I want the world to know we're awesome at video production. That isn't something people pick up off one post, right? That isn't something people pick up off one wow video that's amazing. It's something that people start to believe through multiple touch points. So if I'm looking at my audience and going, I want them to know that I'm the go-to person to solve a problem, but for awesome video production, I have to give them tips and advice and helpful information that helps them see internally, not see with their eyes, not be told, but to almost put the puzzle together that I'm the best person at this thing. And that's something they have to experience. So when I'm talking about LinkedIn, I'll give people some things that they can use and go away and go, I could do that. And then they have a go at it, they get some success and they go, that really helped, that tip from Dean. So I'm helping people get the perception and understand that I'm good at that particular thing. But the other part of this is nurturing to what? Nurturing to what? What do they want to achieve? And every bit of nurture content we create, so that we don't make that propaganda, so that we get a focused audience on a particular thing, is, let's say I'm creating video content for TV commercials. I need to link my expertise, my nurture content to my offer, my TV commercials, so that even when my nurture content isn't promoting, it's not saying buy my stuff, people get the picture, they help with TV commercials. Imagine if I decided, now most of you will know me as for social selling and LinkedIn, but imagine if one day for the next 3 months, I decided for the next 3 months, every day I would talk about a different social media channel. Would you know what my expertise is? Or would you go, he's that social media guy, but I'm not really sure. Is he good at TikTok? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? So I'm focusing on one particular topic, but also I don't help people get jobs on LinkedIn. I help people win clients. So everything I'm doing is focused on, firstly, the topic, the outcome, my expertise, my offer, what I'm selling. And I link those two together to create the nurture content. So what's practical and helpful that links to our offer and links to the topic we talk about. That gives us nurture content. And that content helps people, as Dave said, that kind of content helps people stick around. And today's session, I'm going to show you 3 types of content. Rather than do propaganda, there's 3 types of content you can do. Nurture is really important because that one really gets people to appreciate you, right? And to see the value in working with you and elevates you in their minds of where you sit in the pecking order of, are you good, bad, or ugly? So nurture content is really about value. We'll come to the convert content last. But Dave, do you want to just talk about attract content and its purpose and how that fits with everything that people might be doing on their company page or their profile?
Yeah. So the focus, obviously, attract content. I mean, nurture content is the value add, and then you've got the convert content, which is obviously how you convert your traffic. A lot of people are already posting convert content, which is why we're saving that till last. But the attract content is what basically attracts your audience to you in the first place. Let's take, for example, your profile right now is full of your own personal content and it's all about the company. You're probably pitching to, or you're probably putting that out there to next to no audience. It's probably a minimal audience. What the attract post does is it actually brings an audience to your profile and then allows you to put your other pieces of content to that audience. So an attract post, the value of an attract post is about engagement. about visibility, about longevity. So think about a post that you see that doesn't really have a relevance to what people are selling, but does have high impact, does have high energy, does have high engagement, gets a lot of likes, gets a lot of comments, and really triggers that algorithm of social media. And actually what it does is just attracts people to the profile. So you'll see a post that goes viral or a post get a few thousand impressions, and all of a sudden you'll start to see the rest of your content start to perform better. It's the post that we're all searching for, but the post that we're not actually putting out there.
So the attract content is the easiest to engage with, the least promotional, but actually gives you a flavor of who the person is or who the company is. So often this content seems like pointless, actually. I was going to say, a lot of the times you think, why does this even matter, this content?
Irrelevant.
Yeah. It's like, you'll see it on LinkedIn, you'll see selfies, you'll see birthdays, you'll see people telling you a story about something that happened in their week. You'll see people posting pictures of what it looks like outside their office. This kind of content seems pointless, but it's the easiest way for people to get to know you and see you and spot you and pay attention to you. And again, it helps them build up a little picture of what you're really like. So if nurture content was proving you were an expert, attract content would be proving you're a good human being or a good brand.
Or that you have a sense of humor, or there's a bit of character to you. You're not just a robot who's just pumping out automated content schedule.
Yeah. So the attract content almost feels like, maybe I should bring this up on screen, Dave. I don't know how this will work with two of us on, but we'll have a go. There we are, right? So your attract content basically gets you eyeballs and attention. Nurture content proves the value to the right people. You can't nurture everybody, by the way, right? Dave, I don't know whether you want to speak to this, because you talk to a lot of our clients on the accelerator about this. That fear of, I want to capture everybody. I want to kind of help everybody.
Yeah. And this is the thing, you can post your post can be trying to appeal to literally everybody. There's a lot of people out there that say, I'm selling a couple things. So I start to really put my post to focus on multiple different topics all the time, to the point where you don't actually become known for anything and people don't actually know what they're gaining for being there. And ultimately what you want to do, and why Dean said specifically to link your nurture post back to your convert, is because it's almost like this is a wave. So as you bring a crowd in through the attract posts, they then start to slow down a bit through nurture. But what you do is you actually separate the ones who are important to you, the ones who actually are relevant to what you sell or what you do, or are relevant to the expertise you want to be known for, right? So as that wave then continues, your convert post starts to convert that wave into traffic. But as it gradually starts big with an attract, it starts to fizzle out as it gets to convert. So if your attract post goes out and your nurture content is trying to do too many different things, you won't expect to sell anything, because you're not building enough credibility in what you're actually talking about. Because people, what is it, Dean? People need to see something how many times before they actually...
Yeah, so there's a couple of different stats. So for somebody to remember something, it's about 7 times. But for somebody to consider buying something, they have to see the same thing 7 times. So say, for an example, you're a company, you got 5 different products, and you go, we'll promote a different product every week. But for somebody to seriously considering buying one of those products, they would need to see that product 7 times. So a lot of people go, oh yeah, if they see our brand 7 times, no, that's not the same. They remember the brand, but they don't remember the brand for a reason. So your nurture content, your convert content has to be kind of centered around the same thing, because people need to... I don't know whether it's social media just destroys our memory or it's just human nature generally. But if you think about how many times you have to hear a song on the radio before you remember the words.
I think they said 11 times you have to say a word, isn't it? You say one word 11 times for you to remember it.
Yeah. So we think about it like, and this is the big problem for us, is particularly when you're planning out content, is you go, I've said that already. I've said that already. I need to say something fresh. I need to say something different. in one sense, that's true in that you need to keep things a bit different, but actually the message needs to be consistent through everything for people to pick up on it. And so, yes, we can create attract content and talk about the team, or we're at this expo or this book or whatever, and that brings us attention. But the nurture and convert content has to really kind of be aligned. Otherwise, what you do is you bring in attention and then confuse them.
Yeah, I always think that there's a huge thing about the language you use can make a difference between whether it's attract, nurture, or convert. If you think when you post attract posts, it's look at this, and it's going to be like how Coca-Cola achieved something, because they're a big brand that everyone knows, and it's just this well-known name that's going to attract interest. But then nurture becomes about how you can do this, not how Coca-Cola, but how you can do this, and actually giving away how they can do something. And then convert is how I can show you how to do this, or how we can show you how to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes your language can make a huge difference to how your post is perceived, as whether it's value, whether it's promotional, or whether it's an attractive.
Yeah. I like to use the example of a red car. So the attract post is me stood by a picture of my red car, right? The nurture post is 3 things that you need to know about a red car, right? And then the convert post is, here's why you want to drive a red car.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And what we try and do is we try and do that all in one go, or we try and do it in a short space of time. But the more you consistently lay in that kind of red cars are awesome, the more people want to buy it. And before we go to convert content, we'll tackle convert content, but I want to kind of talk about how to, and why content, Dave, which is mine and your pet project at the moment.
Yeah.
Convert content has to be overtly promotional and very clear who it's for and what the benefits of buying it are. I see many people, solopreneurs, promoting their coaching programs on LinkedIn, and I feel a bit sorry for them sometimes, because you can see that they're really good at what they do. You can see that they've got brilliant ideas, but what they then do is basically market the components of their coaching program. It's 6 weeks, it's group coaching. They don't say, this is what you're going to gain from being part of it. This is the problem it solves. If you've had these concerns, if you're in this particular market, this is for you. They kind of avoid that. And a convert post should be overtly telling people why they should sign up, not how to, and not necessarily in full detail what it is. It's more important they understand why it's in their interest to buy it. So people often ask us, Dean, how often should I be posting on LinkedIn, and how often should I be doing each of these? Dave might have a slightly different view, but I do 2 attract, 2 nurture, and 1 convert a week. That's what I focus on. Promote 1 thing per week. So I'd do 1 convert post, 2 attract posts, 2 nurture posts. I post more than that, but you get the gist of it. That's the sequence that I run. And my convert post is no holds barred, go for the jugular. This is why you need it. Go for it. Dave, what's your take on it?
So I think for most people, they're going to be looking to get to 3 posts a week. If you're looking at 5, then great. Like, you're one of the champions on LinkedIn, but it's very unlikely. So if you can get to 3 posts a week, you have your 3 posts just right there. And that's a great starting point for those of you who don't post regularly, but are looking for a reason to. You've got on a Monday, you could post, on a Friday, you could post an attract. Then on a Monday, you post a nurture. On a Wednesday, you post a convert. And actually what you're doing is, one day you build that audience, a couple of days later, you nurture them through this process. And then the next day you convert them, right? You've got those 3 posts. You can then start to add in a bit more attract, a bit more nurture, just to add extra qualification, add extra value, and add extra, like magnetizing those people to your profile. So if you can get to 3 times a week, obviously that's going to be a huge step from where some people are right now. A lot of you aren't even posting out there, I'm sure. But actually, just this should give you that kind of process of, okay, well, today's attract. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to achieve. This is how I come up with a post. And we've put some examples here. You've got motivational posts, so giving people motivation. humor posts showing people things that you find funny. Dean loves posting a meme. A lot of people are against it, but Dean loves doing it because it shows his humor. It shows the level of it shows you how friendly he is on LinkedIn. And this is a key thing that I hope we're going to get to, is that what you're doing is showcasing something about you that gives your audience a reason to buy from you. And Dean made a good point about the convert post being all product focused and benefits focused. And it's actually, people are buying a lot of the time. People will buy because you like walking the dog, and actually they have a dog that they're crazy about, and you like the sort of person they would do business with. And you've triggered their interest with one statement in your content, but the dog thing has actually made them want to message you. You'll be surprised at how much of an effect your other content will have. Your convert content just needs to be very clear and practical about what it is that they gain and what the dream is. And you look at most kind of good sales approaches, they're short, they're snappy, but they're driven by research. They know what the challenge they're solving for people. They know what solution they're providing. They're not trying to list 15 features and benefits of their service, hoping that people will buy, because they're not competing. They're just going, I know what you need. Here's what you need. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah. So I'll give you another example. You know, if I was selling, let's just do mobile phones because it's an easy one, right? So your attract post could be literally telling people about the first mobile phone you got, right? So that's an attract post. And you could take a picture of, this is the first mobile phone I got, right? Because I'm selling a mobile phone. The nurture post would be 5 productivity hacks for using this mobile phone. And then the convert post would be literally why this phone will make your life better, and explain physically why this phone will make your life better, which they can click through to read a landing page or whatever. But we come to something really important, which I wanted to cover today, Dave, which is how to, how I, and why content, because they're very different. And I want to kind of tackle how to, how I, but I know you want to kind of talk about why content. Mm-hmm. So just tell me about, you know, we always talk about what, why, how. Well, I have to get myself tied. Why is why content better than how content?
So why content isn't necessarily better for your audience, but it is much better for you, especially the ones that are worried about giving away too much. And that is because the why content actually is the wow content. It's the bit that makes people go wow about you. And actually, we could deliver today absolutely nothing of substance of how to perform something. Our problem is we like to give away too much how, as you'll probably see. With examples, we're all about the how, but actually the why content is really important because you can make people go wow without saying how, right? And this is a big thing, is that you will react the same way if we just talked about why something's important rather than having to tell you how to actually do it yourself. And this is the thing that people have to see with their content is, if you want people to go wow and really see that value, you have to talk about why it's important for them and them specifically. So if you're looking to generate leads, I could say, look, you can generate leads by going on LinkedIn and posting a lead magnet, teasing it for a content piece, but it's kind of too detailed that actually people, they kind of lose the energy in the engagement in what I'm saying. But if I tell them why they should do that, why they should do that part of the process, people start to immediately, from the first sentence, are seeing the importance of them doing it. So they feel more motivated, which is strange. So actually start to think about how you can explain why it's important for them specifically, rather than just telling people how to do it. Because again, for me personally, if people are saying how all the time to me, they're assuming that I'm struggling with something specific and they know what it is. So if they get it wrong, it looks worse for them because I won't necessarily resonate. Mm-hmm. But if they say why it's important, they're actually getting me excited about what the outcomes could be and making me feel like I want to achieve that.
So, Dave, I'm just going to do this as an illustration because I know a lot of people will get tongue-tied between why and how, right? How to buy this book, how to get this book is tutorial, it's step-by-step, this is what you need to do. It's a bit more complicated, right? Yes, of course, you can do a summary, go to Amazon, search it up, buy the book. Oh, that was useful. I now know how to buy this book. but I still don't know why I should. So Dave, just translate that again into a content piece of going, how do I make why valuable?
Yeah, so you give them the instructions, and look, when you're selling a strategy, the instructions can be important in allowing someone to see it, but that's almost what they need to see on your sales call or on your pitch, right? They don't need to see that to create curiosity or on that first point of contact. Why the book's important is about going specific and saying, actually, the only reason they're going to buy the book is because, one, they're interested in reading it. At the moment, if I'm telling them how to do something, I'm not creating enough interest. So I'd say why the book's important for them. Well, actually, on page 3, what you'll learn about the specifics of this. And that's important because that will give you this outcome.
Yeah.
But say, why do they want the book? Well, the book will actually give you the ability to put this into practice. Will give you the ability to run a marathon in 6 days rather than 6 weeks. People actually get excited by that, and then they want to know how. So what do you think they do when they want the how? They come to you and they ask you, how do I do this?
So if people really are bought into why they need something, the how becomes the practicalities. However, if you go the other way around and go, how do they see the need? How do you make the why? It's easier to sell how off why than it is. I know we're getting tongue tied here, right? But it's hard to give how and sell why. It's much easier to sell why and then how.
And it's a good thing because actually most convert content that we're pushing out on behalf of our company is just explainers. It's just what we do. It's just telling people, here's what we're involved in, here's the people we work with, here's what we sell. But it doesn't actually tell people why they want to buy from us. And that's the point we're missing and with a lot of our content, and why a lot of these webinars and a lot of the activity that we do, and why we're saying about the collateral being changed, is actually you've got a brochure there with some really good bits. You just need to reverse those features into why points. And actually you have a really good post to get your audience engaged and get your audience excited.
And we did something recently similar to this, Dave, on our website, where we literally told people, put the why content in front of the how content, and we saw our inbound inquiries go up.
Mm-hmm. And this is, that's it. I was so reluctant because we were always focused on giving away the process, giving away the method, giving away the strategy. But actually people weren't getting as excited, and we could still give away that strategy at a later stage. But if at least we give them a bit of excitement and give them some why first, we had more. Don't get me wrong, with the how we did get conversions. With the why and then the how, you get 10 times as many people engaging because of the relevance of it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like if somebody's bought into why they need something, then it becomes quite practical. And, nobody really understands something until they know why. So we've just focused on saying, right, if you want to be in our accelerator, this is why you should be in the accelerator, then how it works. Whereas often what we do with convert content or with generally is we focus on how it works and then try and tell people why. And that's how you get the biggest number of objections, because objections often come from, if somebody's objecting to the price, they don't see the value. It's a why problem. Mm-hmm. If somebody's objecting to the timing, I don't need this right now, it's actually a why problem of why they need it now. And the more you ask, why does this matter? Why do they need it? Why do they need it now? The more your objections go down. And this is really, really important when you're coming to your convert content, is thinking about why. So your attract content would be why I got started in social selling. Your nurture post could be some practical things about why they should do social selling. And then the convert content is why you should join our social selling accelerator. And that's just my example. So that people see my journey, they see some value in it for them, and then they see how we can help them get that value quicker, easier, faster, without the learning curve that most people go through.
Yeah.
And so when you break that down, what you want to talk about, suddenly what happens is, instead of you just pushing out propaganda, you have some attention grabbing content, some helpful content, but also something promotional, which makes the case for why somebody should buy from you.
Yeah. And the why content is important to not be like, well, why? Because it saves you time. Why? Because it just saves you money, right? This is a common thing we see. People go, yeah, but I have 10 years experience. That's why they buy from me. That's not why they buy from you. That's why they may make the final decision to buy from you in the end versus someone else. But in the first stages, which is what social media is, it's the early stage of the process. They're not looking at those kind of benefits as to why they would buy. They're not looking because you save time. It's why you save them time. It's why they gain, or why they are more successful because of their saved time. Is why they are they're better off without that time being lost. And that's what you got to think about, is going deeper towards the actual real world challenges or real world symptoms to be able to achieve that.
Yeah, it's a bit like, it comes back to then, why do they want that? It's because they've got something else they want to achieve. I always think about it like, you remember that analogy of don't sell the, what was it? You know, that whole sales analogy about the picture on the wall, right? And they say, don't sell the screw, sell the hole. Have you ever seen this?
No, I haven't.
Right. So there's an analogy. I can never get this one right, but basically the analogy is, if you want to sell a hammer or a drill, don't sell the drill features, sell the hole. In other words, what it does. I'd go one step further, sell the picture hanging on the wall. Yeah. That's what people really want. So you have whatever you're promoting, and however big your business is, solopreneur or multinational, you're selling a drill. No. You're not selling a drill. You're not selling the hole. You're selling the why, which is the picture on the wall. Why do you need the drill? You don't need the drill because you want a hole. You want the drill because you want to put the picture on the wall. Mm-hmm. And what often we do is we go, the generic answer is you want a hole. No. Sell the picture on the wall, what the drill enables to happen. That's why people buy the drill. They buy it primarily for the final end result, what this will do for them in the end result. And then the journey between that is the steps, and your content's no different. What Dave was saying there is like increased time. Well, if you have a more powerful drill, yes, you can do it faster, but you still want the picture on the wall. So think about, how do you avoid the kind of wishy-washy kind of whys? Like increased productivity and efficiency. What the hell does that mean? Like, it's so nebulous, it's so ill-defined, people can't quantify it. So if you look at like the whys, the case you're making for people to buy in your convert content, how do you quantify it so other people can quantify it? Efficiency means a lot of things to a lot of different people. How can your audience quantify it? Dave, you've seen people do this a lot, right? And get stuck with this.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing. It's easy. It's hard to then take, okay, well, now I have a why. They do it because they want to achieve X. But then it's like, how do I put this into a post? And that's why these things are so important, because like I said, you just have to talk about them from a client experience, or talk to them from your experience. You got to think about who you're appealing to here. And another big mistake that we've covered, and probably not a conversation for today, but it's so easy for you to go out there and talk about what you do and what you sell in your own words, or from the words of your marketing team, or if you're a marketer here, from the words that you give out. But actually, what you want to do is start thinking about the stuff that they understand and talk to them on their level, your audience's level, so that they can see the benefit. Like Dean said about the picture on the wall, right? You're not telling them the features that the drill has a 50-watt battery with 16-ounce and all of this stuff, because actually all they care about is the benefit, the value at the end. So you need to talk from that point of view. And your content's no different. You're telling a story from You're not telling a story about how your method helped someone to do this because they followed the 6-week program. You're telling them this method helped them because they were able to see this, they were able to achieve that, and they were able to overcome this. And this objection thing is huge for us, because people said to me, like Dean said, they can't afford the service. It's because they haven't seen that there's enough value in what I'm selling to cover what it would cost. So this process has to be explained through content, through all of these touch points previously. And our marketing collateral a lot of the time is really good at explaining the company and telling a story about the company, but it's not telling them much about how you specifically can help them on their journey to achieving the result that you deliver.
I'll give you a fun example of this. That I don't know whether you remember this. We had a client a few years ago in London who rented properties in an area of London that actually was quite slow to rent. I know that sounds really strange, but it's quite slow to rent and slow to sell, actually. And they wanted, but their challenge was not renting them. They were pretty quick at renting and selling properties, right? Very quick at renting and selling properties, like lightning, in fact. Their problem was that they couldn't get the signings, people agreeing to sell their property through them and people agreeing to let their property through them. So that was their big struggle. They could not do it. They could not onboard the sellers and the landlords fast enough. They could rent them and sell them like lightning. So one of the things that they did, because back then everybody put, listings in newspapers. Yeah, everybody did that, right? So I said to them, you've got to compete on the basis that you can rent out or sell a property faster than everybody else. Now, of course, they can't say that, because there's always that rogue property and there's always that one, and you don't know how fast other people are doing it. But I said to them, that's why people are going to come and sign for you. You're going to get them sold faster. And of course, if you sell faster, you're probably going to have to, if you've got a properties in demand and you're selling them like hotcakes, the pricings, your market prices are probably going to be pretty decent. So they changed their newspaper ad strategy. I know we're going a bit old school. And instead of putting all those little pictures of different properties and how much it could sell for and how much they were looking for rent and what was available, because they didn't have the stress of trying to let stuff, because they had queues coming out their ears for it, they put listings of everything that had been let and everything that had been sold. And then at the bottom saying, we need more properties. So basically they put a full page advert in the paper showcasing all the properties that had been let, and they put the number of days that it took them to sell it on everything. And they did that on every advert, and they got known as the people who sell things fast. The why? Because you'll sell it faster and I won't lose money doing it. And they did brilliantly just doing that. And other people now do this, but literally they put everything that's sold in the listings. Dave, do you remember them?
Yeah, and you think most people would be too hesitant because they think it backfires because it looks like you've got nothing available. But the demand and the perception is huge. And this is the thing with social media. Perception plays a massive part. If you appear active and busy and providing value, people think you're valuable. It's the same process. If you appear to be inactive and you appear to be quiet and you don't appear to be engaging, are they going to engage with you? So all of this kind of plays into one big part. And if you're a salesperson of a large organization or you're a solopreneur, the process is the same. Your decision makers, regardless of who they are looking the same way. They're looking on LinkedIn the same way everyone is. They're scrolling it in their pastime or in their spare time because they're not looking to buy. They're looking for reasons why. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where you have to think when you do this. They're not looking necessarily for their life to be changed with a product that they're going to pay big money for, but actually we have to appeal to them by making sure we speak specifically to them. And these people, like you said in the newspaper, used a very kind of good technique to be able to simulate this perception of we're the most busy, we're the most sought after, And actually people follow suit because that's naturally what humans do. It's a big psychology game.
So if you've taken stuff from today's webinar, first of all, break down your content, attract, nurture, convert. That way you can clearly promote what you do, but you're actually engaging an audience and giving value to an audience at the same time. So why should you do this? Because you will attract people, you will keep people, and you will convert people. That's why you should do it. And if you don't make the case for why, it's very difficult to convert from how. So we've had quite a lot of questions and stuff, but we're running tight on time, so we will try and follow up. If you want my 5-point plan for social selling, I know some people have asked for it in the chat, DM me or Dave on LinkedIn, Dave Faulkner, Dean Seddon, and we will send you the 5-point plan for LinkedIn. And if you want to know how and why we can help you with social selling, again, ask the question and we'll show you how you can win clients on LinkedIn without the stress and without the spammy, pushy pitches that you see on LinkedIn. But thank you so much for joining me and Dave. Dave, any final wrap up just before we sign off?
Yeah, again, the last time I did this, I had a load of people messaging me, not just to buy from us, obviously, but to help them. Any resources you can provide me with, any information, can we have a call, just talk about my situation? Anything like that was really good for us. We love to help as much as we can. The calls is where the how comes out. So if you want to have the how conversation of how do I put this content into practice? How do I build some of these content pieces? I'm struggling. I know roughly I have the attract, nurture, convert, but I need to know how to actually build this content. Let's have a conversation. There's no obligation, but at least I can tell you a bit more of the how on those calls. If you do, Dean, 5-point plan, please message me, please message Dean. 5-point plan, it is a really good resource, so make sure you message about that. And yeah, make sure you tune into our webinars every week. We're going to be doing this. Dean does audio events every other week and webinars every other week. So make sure you tune into the next one. And thanks for your questions. I'll follow up with you shortly. It's been great to do this for you guys. So have a good rest of your day.
Thanks.